Yep, it's time to stop calling people Hitler and start calling people hockey pucks. But to do that, we got to ask a big question. Can you get the people who would demonize us to change, or is it too ingrained? Because to them, it's more than a disagreement. They call you fascist, a threat to democracy, a Hitler. And if you plant that seed long enough, somebody's going to act on it. That's how you end up where we are this week, with the Dallas sniper leaving a note saying that he hoped the attack would give ICE agents real terror. Listen to how they spoke about ICE.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the street.
Running around our communities like masked bank robbers? Terrorizing women?
When I talked about what terrorism looks like, this is it.
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves.
Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process.
He can't hear you. But you're surprised people are trying to kill ICE? We need deprogramming to convince these people that their words are putting others in harm's way. Because you know it's not illegal to say this stuff. So instead, you got to convince them that it's a bad thing. Not just for us, but for them. The Democrats are now the Carnival Cruise Line of parties. Nonstop fighting, drunks, geriatrics, and frequent exposure to whales. But the Dems got to admit that they're playing with fire. You have a repetitive, inflammatory message that you've released into the wild, and you have followers, many of whom aren't well, who will act on it. Now, for anyone saying, but Greg, you do it too. No, I don't. I don't demonize people. No, this is what I do. The curvy cows of The View are mooing again. Like Kamala leaving happy hour, these numbers are staggering. Finding government waste is as common as finding skid marks in Joe Biden's underwear. It's how we ended up getting something like Queers for Palestine, which is as absurd as boners for Rosie O'Donnell, spewing more noxious gases than Jerry Nadler in the Capitol men's room. There was quite a crowd on their debate stage, although half that crowd was Chris Christie. If it walks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, but eats like an elephant, it's probably Joy Behar. See, that's petty, but it's not deadly. No one goes after Joy Behar when I say she's fat. I don't say she's a threat to democracy, just a threat to an all-you-can-eat buffet. In the hierarchy of slurs, fat jokes don't come close to Hitler. When you call someone a brain-dead asshat, the worst thing that happens is Keith Olbermann gets the help he needs. But call someone Hitler, the worst thing that happens is somebody believes you, and suddenly there are sirens. And that's the real problem for Dems. Demonization has become their only tool. They're like a kid who lost all his toys but still clutches one broken action figure. The rest has been stolen because they made theft legal. So what should they do? Well, they could give my advice a shot and start with me. Call me short, loud, wrong, obnoxious, stupid, idiotic, mindless, infantile, smelly. I'll take it. Mostly because I know it's not true, but also because that's how you let off steam. That's how you diffuse violence, insults, ridicule, mockery. In the old days, that's how we dealt with differences, not by calling us Hitler. And if you don't agree with me, well, let's hearken back to a great-looking host from 15 years ago. What did he used to say? If you disagree with me, then, sir, you are worse than Hitler. If you disagree with me, then you, sir, are worse than Hitler. If you disagree with me, then you, sir, are worse than Hitler. Wow. That face. That big, fat face. It's kind of sad, though, that a running joke from a late-night show from 15 years ago has become the entire Democratic platform. I had more power than I thought. So, Guy, I'm not going to bring up what we discussed in the green room because it's personal, and I'm glad you're seeing a doctor. But you have had, interactions with people who are on the other side who can't shake kind of this personal and this demonizing nature. Do you think it's possible that they can do that now?
I think some probably can, and some have. And a lot of my friends on the left have been amazing and kind in the last couple of weeks. But there's also blind spots.
Yeah.
So, for example, a buddy of mine on the left, he sends me text messages all the time of things I'm supposed to be upset about that he's upset about. Like,
Yes.
have you seen this?
Yes.
Like, I have to work for a living. Like, I don't have time to respond in text messages to everything that pisses you off. But it was the auto pen photo, right, that Trump put up. He's like, you know, if this had been a Democrat, Fox would have covered this nonstop for 2 weeks. And I said, yeah, we've been a little busy covering all the murders you guys are doing. And I'm not blaming him specifically, but it's like we've had bigger things on our mind than petty nonsense like that, because people have been taking to heart some of this rhetoric and murdering us. So I hope, and he was sort of like, oh, well, fair point.
Yes.
Right? So I think some people can get it. Other people are lost. And there's no real point in trying to convince them. But I think the vast majority of us are at least still against murder.
Yes. That is an amazing, have you seen this? The have you seen this text? And they show you something, you go like, so? That's funny. Like they'll send something from Trump. And I'm not saying it was Jessica who sends me this, but maybe it's her. Dagan. It is true. It's like they get really wrapped up in these like really silly things, but then they kind of like avoid confronting these awful things.
Right. Just broadly, they're humorless scolds.
Yeah.
And so if I know a lot of them, and if I see one coming, I just try to diffuse whatever that they're gonna like spit in my face. So I will go, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And they kind of blink and their eyes tear because I'm that close. And if they don't, and if they're still have that grimace on their face, I'll take my leg and rub my leg on their calf like I'm cleaning off my pants. And then they don't know what to do. So
Wait, so
that's just human interaction.
What you're trying to do is kill them with kindness as opposed to kill them?
Yes.
But the Rickles thing, I do think that they can turn a corner if they start using the Rickles way with each other first.
Right. Yes.
So you think about when the Democrats are running for the presidential nomination, who wouldn't want to go Rickles on like J.B. Pritzker? Like, you know who will be ready for that 3 a.m. call? J.B. Pritzker will, because he's up with his face in the fridge. He's got his head in a bowl of cold mashed taters and a pepperoni stick in each hand.
You're talking about they need a Trump. That, you know, and the point you're making is they can't do that with people like Ilhan Omar or anybody in the squad because they'll be called racist or so they can't even make fun of each other.
Right.
That's the problem.
There's an opportunity for one Democrat to come along.
It's a Trump, but they don't have a Trump.
Be a Don Trump.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah,
see what I'm
they're
doing?
all named Don. You know, Kat, I'm starting to rethink my criticism of Bernie Sanders for talking about autocracy, not oligarchs. Remember, he was, that's as mean as he gets, you know? And we kind of think, oh, that's boring and lame and esoteric, but maybe he was trying to go in a direction.
Well, first of all, I'm glad I came to work today because now I know who Don Rickles is.
Wait.
Oh, that's
You can't be serious.
I'm not.
Okay.
But no, it was a very timely reference. I'm not sure I really understand your analogy, so I hope we can discuss it now. I do agree that calling someone fat is not as bad as calling someone Hitler.
Yes.
Where you lose me is how that automatically means that calling someone fat is heroic.
I am, Kat, the Rosa Parks of calling people fat.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's not really an answer.
I refuse to sit in the back of the bus of fat jokes.
Okay, so what you just did is attempt to use shock value to not answer my question.
Are you?
I don't really get. I guess I don't really understand.
I think what I'm trying to say is if you want to criticize somebody and you don't like them, at least insult them. Don't call them Nazis. I'm just trying to get them to I'm trying to them to like let off some steam that makes them feel good without putting our lives in danger.
There's better ways to let off steam than calling people fat.
But they're not bright.
And look, I love comedy. My life's comedy. I love it. I love performing. I don't do the fat jokes. But since you said at the end that you're really open to hearing whatever, you're not gonna get upset. There is something I've been meaning to tell you for a really long time.
Yeah.
I think that now might be the time for me to do it. Should I do it?
Do
Yes.
Okay. I don't feel like Joy Behar is fat. When I look at her, I'm not like, whoa, look at that fat lady. I have huge problems with a lot of the things she said, okay?
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. She's 82 years old. She looks great.
Well, to be
Thank
fair,
you, one person, and everyone else who's too afraid to admit it.
That was Joy Behar, by the way, who clapped. And you know what? She did it with her hooves. Tyrus, last word to you. I love how you're sitting.
Well, I'm hiding from the camera during that Rosa Parks. I think it's safe now to come back out. I will say in Greg's defense, no, she's not fat, but she does have a big head. I mean, she does one of the, I don't know if it's the wig or the makeup, but her head looks like she wears a size 12 hat.
Her head looks like her neck threw up.
Yeah, but listen, you're Don Rickles, you people who can make fun of other people, they have an inner confidence, but overall they generally like mankind.
Yeah.
They're happy.
I like the people I insult.
You do it to get something back. Like if you made fun of The View and then they came on the show and they all were in high chairs saying it's Gutfeld time, you would laugh and say, oh, you got me. And then next week you'd come out with cowbells for them. And it would go back and forth because you're both exchanging ideas and you both are intelligent. That's not it. We're dealing with hate. It's the same hate as when you had to deal with ignorant trailer park white supremacists claiming that they represented America.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a debate with a brother. You know, it would be funny. You know, it'd be like, hey, Wonder Bread, oh, not much, jigaboo. And we'd go see who throw, you know. You know what I'm saying? You'd go back and forth and you would see who would win and you'd be better from it. You'd be closer from it. They don't want that.
Yeah.
Because one thing you said earlier, you're wrong. They did have President Trump. He was a Democrat.
That's true.
And then he saw them for what they were. And he said, I could never run for this party.
Yeah.
Because they're so corrupt. So then he decided to go the Republican route because we're like, if you got money, you want to do work, welcome, brother.
Yeah.
We don't care. So that's the difference. They don't want to be a Don Rickles. They can't be Don Rickles. They can't be you because their whole premise is hate. And that's the problem.
All right.
Don Lemon hates that President Trump, in his mind, cost him his job and his career.
Yeah. All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.